everyone. I'm gonna wait and see if anybody joins me real quick. Pardon, I just had some tea. So I'm on here to talk about something really cool. I'm on here to talk about the yo-yo nature of quantum leaps and how to actually create consistency in quantum leaps to solidify them, and what kind of work that I have done with my client recently to make sure that her quantum leap was not a fluke, but that it's repeatable. And here's what happens with a lot of entrepreneurs that have taken a really strategic and spiritual approach, or I'm sorry, rather strategic and logical approach to scale their businesses. They have created perhaps automatic lead generation systems, automatic marketing systems, etc. And what has happened after a while, it blocks your expansion, because after a while, it actually constricts who you are as a person and how you're showing up. And so what happens then is you perhaps go see a spiritual healer because you're like, I need an expansion and I need something drastic and I need something now. Here is why this doesn't work. It creates a really weird cycle of codependency, pretty much right off the bat, because whenever you get injected with an energetic power up, okay, it's not something that has been inner sourced or created by you from the inside. And here's where the problem lies, is that the power of creating that 25K month has been placed outside of you. It has not actually clicked in to your being, brain, body, your daily actions, and your daily routines in order to fully, holistically, for your system to accept that you're able to recreate it and that you're able to recreate it over and over and over again. Because whenever you just go and see a healer alone, like I said, it creates a cycle of codependency. Because here's what happens. You've gotten an energetic power up, something has been dispelled in your body, an energy has been moved, and you don't really know how. So if your thoughts and your actions and the things and your strategies in business continue to be the same, that energetic root of the pattern is just going to allow that energetic weed to grow back. Okay, so what happens with a lot of entrepreneurs that have gone and sought energetic healers and have experienced a quantum leap is they have not been able to recreate it. And they're confused as to how. And they're confused as to how do I integrate this into my business? And how do I then go about recreating it over and over and over again? So this is what I'm going to be talking to you guys about today. Pretty juicy live stream. To those of you that don't know me, my name is Marina. Nice to meet you. I am a mentor for business owners at various stages of their business, particularly those who are now looking for ways to scale sustainably and create consistency in their income by infusing both energy work and manifestation principles as well as strategic implementation. One of the biggest notions of the work that I do is to create action that is backed by the new installed belief. Because no matter how much energy work you do to dispel certain beliefs, unless you change your habits and unless you change your strategies and unless you change your actions, the belief is going to keep on coming back. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about a particular client of mine who has had exactly this happen. She was used to making around 14K months, and then she experienced a quantum leap, and it was from an energy work type of work, okay? And then she hasn't been able to recreate it, and it's been frustrating, and she's like, what the hell, why? So I'm going to explain to you guys what exactly we did holistically and why it has worked for her to now create $7,800 in sales in 5 weeks of us working together, and how she got 7 leads since Monday, when on Monday everything seemed slim, and how we have been able to recreate that kind of consistency in business. So I have notes just so that I cover all of my bases. One of the first things that we did was to create morsels of time throughout the day for her so that she can allow herself to relax. And the reason for that, there's a couple of reasons for that. It calms your nervous system to be more receptive. I'm actually going to share this video into my group now that I think about it to make sure they see it. And then I'm going to keep going, keep hammering off. Sorry, you guys, just a second. Share now. Share into my group. Okay. All right, sorry you guys. So the first thing that we did with her was we created small morsels of time and space throughout the day and to allow her to have her own you time. The reason why that's important, there's a couple of reasons why. If you are installing a new belief that you deserve this kind of cash by working less, then you need to start acting in a way that allows you to have time for you and time for yourself. You need to start infusing your day with the things that give you pleasure, relief, joy, creativity. You need to start infusing your day with these morsels of time that allow your body and mind to relax, which means you're more sharper focused, of course, and of course allow you to have more creative ideas on how you can then create amazing marketing campaigns and marketing approaches. Okay, so we also have infused her day with mini body exercises that calm her nervous system. And the reason being for that is to make sure, like, whenever you're frantic and whenever you're anxious, you are in a constricted state. Whenever you're in a constricted state, you cannot speak to prospects, you cannot speak to clients, you cannot be grounded. I mean, this is just logical and really 3D type of examples, right? And in manifestation world, if you're in a constricted state, of course, nothing can flow to you, whether it be ideas, whether it be money, whether it be clients, whether it be opportunities. So that's the first thing that we did with her, is infuse her day with small morsels of time where she can allow her body and her mind to relax and be creative. For somebody that doesn't have a lot of time and for somebody that has functioned in a very rigid type of an environment, this is really huge because it allows you to open up more. It allows you to relax. It allows you to get more creative, and it allows you to get into more of your playful essence, which is really important. And I'm going to get to that later as to why. Because a lot of people want to see your true personality. They don't want to see you hiding behind the computer screen. Okay, they don't want to just see you crunching numbers. They want to see your charismatic self. And that's what creates sales. So one of the other things that we did is we took a look at her gifts of what actually has created the sales and the most successful sales, the most easiest sales in the first place. As we reverse engineered it, not only what strategies were used, but also who was she being and how, what was going on with her in that point in time and why. And the reason why we took such a reverse engineered approach is because for somebody logical, especially like yourself, by infusing these kinds of manifestation principles, like I can tell you all day, this is what you need to do. But until you yourself understand, like, man, this shit works, like you're not going to do it, right? So we have reverse engineered her sales to take a look at what has actually worked. And what has actually worked is when, ironically enough, she was being more of herself. Because see what happens, like I said, for somebody who's very logical, who has created consistency at this point for 10 to 15K months, there's no way in hell you want to let go of marketing strategies because you're like, well, it's all somehow working. I know it all is. I'm going to check back on my leads that perhaps haven't heard from me since like a year or two ago. And if I check back on them now, you know, who knows, maybe now they're ready to buy, right? And yes, and not saying that it doesn't work, but for somebody like you, it might be really nerve-wracking to infuse new marketing strategies and new profitability models and new approaches to how you present yourself in front of your clients, which is something that I want to talk to next, is this whole notion of visibility and this whole notion of actually showing your true colors in front of your clients. So for somebody who has scaled in a very rigid way, for somebody who, once they get more business, hides behind their computer screen instead of getting more intimate with your audience, you actually end up capping your sales. And here is why. Because people have originally gravitated to you because of your personality. And when we reverse engineered my client's sales, that is actually exactly what has caused her sales. Was when people saw her true self. As more business has started coming in, and as more marketing approaches have been piled on, if you will, into her busy schedule, she started getting more and more constricted. And what that happens energetically, of course, you can't welcome in more sales. What that happens with your body and your emotion and your focus, you're focusing on things that are not bringing you joy. So it makes you less magnetic. It makes you less charismatic. It makes you less motivated, and it makes you less wanting to appear in front of your audience in your full self, and it makes you hide. And then additionally, because you have already created consistency with like your 10 to 15K months in such a rigid approach, you don't want to let that go, and your body and brain will not let you, which is why it's really important for you to reverse engineer those sales and start infusing those marketing strategies so that you actually see for yourself that this works. And for somebody who sees energy like myself, I am very strategic and logical as well, but I'm super intuitive and I see energy and how it moves as well. This is the way that I see it. For somebody who has functioned in a very rigid environment, right? If you have created your business and scaled it like this, and the more constricted you become, the more you want to hold on to it, the more it's predictable, it's comfortable. If you have functioned in this stance, the more you begin to infuse these tiny morsels of uncomfortable actions, the more you're sending a powerful signal to the universe of saying, hey, I'm deserving of expansion. I'm ready to actually open myself up. Okay? So speaking on this outside of this whole notion of just energetic principles, your belief needs to be backed by action. So for my client, for instance, right, she really wants to be the big deal. She really wants to be in front of people. She really wants to provide value. She really wants to educate people. She really wants to appear in front of people. And yet her daily actions did not necessarily show that, which creates a discordance between what you believe yourself to be, which is like the big deal, on stages individual who deserves to have all of this income and impact and influence, and yet you are hiding behind the computer screen, and you are hiding behind strategies that perhaps allow clients to trickle in because the infrastructure has been built, but it will not let you expand and create a consistent quantum leap and consistent, healthy expansion. Let me know if this makes sense. To those of you that are watching, please feel free to stop me at any point. I'm happy to elaborate on whether or not this is something that's going to work in your industry, and I'm happy to let you know as to how exactly this works and elaborate. Feel free to ask me questions. Feel free to PM me if you have any questions as well before I continue. One of the other notions that we have taken a look at is, like I said, we have looked at the detection of inefficiencies of which kind of marketing approaches did not necessarily work really well, which kind of marketing approaches only allowed like a certain trickle of clients and are now naturally being not necessarily outsourced but automated. So now in order to step into your next level is not going to look anything like this one. And in order for you to be that person who is in the next level, the fastest way to bring it in to now is by being that person now. So one of the ways that we have taken a look at it from both the energetic as well as the daily implementation standpoint, we have taken a look at what would the 25K per month version of yourself do? What would she be? How would she behave? How would she be in front of people? How would she feel about herself? And the quickest way to manifest that is by lassoing that feeling and that being into your existence now. Every belief that you change, you can call it magic, you can call it energetic healing or whatever, but the quickest way to get your body and mind and system on board with this is by implementing this into your daily action. So one of the things that we have done with my client in order to create more of that consistency is implement more of that beingness that has created her those easy sales in the first place, of implement more of that beingness into now. So for instance, she wants to be the big deal. She wants to be in front of the audience. She wants to be able to provide mentorship to people. She wants to be able to be on stage. Yet right now she's hiding behind the desk and hiding behind the computer screens, and she's not actually front and center in front of people. And right now, not only have we been able to manifest those kinds of opportunities, but are now, pushing her outside of that comfort zone. And every single action that you take when you're changing a belief, okay, yeah, of course it's going to feel scary. However, the quickest way to not only bring that in and bring in that quantum leap closer to you into your reality right now, but also to continuously repeat that, is to ask yourself, who would I be at that point in time? And how can I be that in my business right now? So like I said, for my client, it is an infusion of a completely new marketing approach that puts her front and center in front of people, which brings me to some of my last points, and some of the most potent ones are the notions of visibility. A lot of people, especially if you have scaled to a certain amount, okay, you don't necessarily, like I said, your body, your being, your brain will not want to let that go of that comfort. And it's a lot less comfortable for you to do that, which something that I strongly believe in my work is doing this gradually so that your body and your mind can see this for yourself. Because if you do this all at once, like you've already created consistency. And if you do this all at once, there's no way in hell your whole entire body brain system is going to be on board with changing that belief and embodying it right away. So you have to do it in bite-sized chunks. And that's exactly what I've been doing with my client, is doing this little by little by little, and facilitating her from multiple angles: body, mind, energy, implementation tactics, business and marketing strategies. And we combine all of the above. Because, like I said, if you do this all at once, what it creates, like I said, it creates this inconsistent quantum leap that then cannot be sustained. It creates a shock to your system, and it could actually backfire energetically. And I've seen that happen over the summer with a lot of the individuals that I've hung around in my other circles when I was selling for a hyper chaotic spiritual mentor. But we won't talk about that. I have learned a lot, and at the same time, it's not a sustainable practice in order to bring in that quantum leap and be able to hold it, okay? Be able to sustain it. So one of the last things that I want to talk about, a couple of things, is this notion of visibility. Because when you're transforming as a person, and whenever you're welcoming in the next level of yourself, whenever you are wanting to lasso in the next level of yourself, and you're pulling in that person into now, like, who would that person be right now? What would they do? And how would they go about their daily lives, their daily actions, and especially in their business, what kind of marketing approaches would they take? What would they be doing? And one of the notions that comes up is visibility. And the reason why is because whenever we grow, it's uncomfortable. And whenever we grow in public eye, it's even less comfortable. It's actually even more scary. So this whole notion of visibility, of being able to grow and transform in the face of the public, is really scary for most people. So like I said, one of the things that we did with my clients, and we have been doing, is introducing small morsels of this at a time. And what I see energetically, like I said, by introducing small morsels of visibility that is now super uncomfortable, by growing into your next level in front of people, and getting really intimate with your audience, and being willing to change in front of their eyes, especially when you have already built a reputation, especially when you have already built consistency. It's really fucking scary. It's really fucking scary. And this is the scariest notion for most people, and the least comfortable thing to do in order to become the next level version and be able to sustain it. And so it needs integration, which is why I discussed all of the things that we have done before to set herself up for this, my client. And now this whole notion of visibility, right? The whole reason why it's so scary for people to become visible, especially at this level of entrepreneurship, when you're scaling to the next level and are feeling capped, if you have already created consistency at 10 to 15K, you have already created a reputation, there's a notion of like, oh fuck, what if it all burns to the ground? If I actually allow myself to be the next level version of myself, I'm going to become bigger. I'm going to become more intense. I'm going to become more of myself. I'm going to become more authentic. I'm going to become more sensual. I'm going to become more funny. I'm going to become more loud. I'm going to become maybe more anxious in front of you as I'm doing this, right? I'm going to be feeling like, what if this all like burns to the ground? And what if the next level of clients like are just like not going to see me? It's really fucking scary, and I understand it. There's other fears that come up too of like, what is it going to do with my relationships that I have already built? What is it going to do with the network that I already have in place? If I go ahead and start becoming that person by intervening and interweaving these new marketing strategies that reflect the actions of the next level me. By doing that, you see, it's going to allow you to integrate a lot more smoothly. So the notion of visibility, the best way to break through it is literally by starting to do it, is by starting to be more of yourself, is by starting to express more of your gifts to the world, is by starting to embody the next version of yourself now in your marketing strategies, by showing up in front of people, by taking bolder actions, by actually not outsourcing your marketing techniques, but rather becoming more and more front and center. And this is exactly what happens with my client and what is happening with my client. She is now manifesting opportunities that are allowing her to be front and center. She is now manifesting opportunities that are asking her to step into that next level version and be able to hold that quantum leap. Okay. Sorry, I think my boyfriend just called me. Let me just let him know that I'm doing a live stream. I think they're trying to he was on a boat with his parents, so sorry, give me just a second. Okay, sorry about that. So by becoming more of this version of yourself, you might be getting calls from your boyfriend while you're doing live streams, and that is scary and that is vulnerable, right? And this whole notion too, like, the more higher level that you become, you guys, the more intimate that you get with your audience. Because once you start selling at higher levels and once you start accepting more and more of your next level self, you're actually going to create more and more boundaries. You're going to start to become a different person. And the kinds of connections and business connections that you're going to make and the kinds of work that you do one-on-one with your clients is going to start to become a lot more intimate. So this whole fear of visibility actually stems from not necessarily being visible in front of a bunch of new people and seeing them for your goofy personality or whatever. It's actually the fear of baring your heart to another person one-on-one fully and expressing, your fullest self and allowing them to do the same. So this is what we're working on right now, this whole fear of visibility, but more than anything, the fear of visibility in an intimate setting. Because your next level, while you have scale to 10 to 15K by serving a wider crowd, once you start selling higher and higher end, the whole notion here is being visible, not necessarily in front of a big crowd, but in front of one person, one session at a time, and being seen fully for all that you are and allowing them to do the same and holding space for them to do the same. Higher end container packages, if you will, require that. And most people that say they have a fear of being visible, what it actually is not necessarily, like I said, the visibility, but the fear of being intimate. I'll say one more thing about this. It's not also like the fear of showing others who you are becoming in your next level self and pulling that into your reality right now, but also allowing yourself to not be afraid to actually get intimate with your heart's desires. And what I mean by that is once you start reaching like new levels, you're going to start drawing more boundaries. You're going to start getting more selective about the kinds of people you want to hang out with and about the kinds of people that you don't want to hang out with, about the kinds of standards that you have in your business, about your operating procedures, etc., about perhaps being more stern. And that in itself is more protective, right? It's like protecting your intimacy. But the kinds of people that you do let in, this is where the magic happens. This is actually where things start to flow. And this is actually how you can start pulling in your next level now, is by allowing yourself to actually getting really intimate with the audience that you want to serve, allowing yourself to be seen, allowing yourself to follow the desires of your heart and draw boundaries, and allowing the other person the space to fully unravel themselves. The whole reason why this kind of approach works, that's super holistic for you to be able to sustain your quantum leap, is because it embodies it not in just your mind, not in just your energy, but in your whole entire being, your body, your mind, your soul, your energy, your business. And this new belief of becoming the next version of yourself really gets clicked in, which is why it requires such a holistic approach. When you start to, like I said, get into higher end selling, and when you start to grow into higher end of making money, the kinds of issues that you face are a lot more complex and are a lot more holistic. And that's why just one modality will never work and will not create the consistent quantum leap. It requires a whole person transformation. And if this is something that you want in your business, this is something that I do. And I pretty much do the energetic work, the emotional work, some relationship coaching, even the strategic implementation of new marketing strategies that allow you and your gifts to actually shine in front of people, dispelling your fear of visibility, doing meditation rituals with you, setting money goals, and allowing yourself to enter into this big vision state that you are. If that you want to be in your next level. If this is something that you guys are interested in and are not sure if my approach is going to work for your business, I am happy to speak with you. Go ahead and PM me. Hold on. I just put my link. And this one is generic. I have 2 different programs, and it depends on where you are. If you are making somewhere around 5 to 10K monthly in your business right now, or if you have sold before and have seen a dry spell and nothing has happened and you were wondering as to why, there could be a number of things. It could be that your process is not in line. Your offers right now are shaky because you don't have the confidence in your offers, so you're having a hard time selling and marketing them. Okay, so usually people at the 5 to 10K level right now are having problems with confidence. And if you are at between 10 to 15K, the problems that you're facing are a little bit different than the 5 to 10K level. Like I said, the 5 to 10K level faces issues with confidence and confidence in their offers, sales, and marketing. The next level problems have to do with more of the beingness of who you are being and where you're not allowing yourself to be the next level. And these kinds of problems are a lot more intimate, are a lot more complex, and I have a program for that as well to help you scale sustainably, to help you reach your next level, but more than anything to sustain it. So that you don't develop a codependent relationship with the healer, so that you don't have the shiny object syndrome of trying to chase the next best strategy, of trying to have the shiny object syndrome, because what you need is actually a holistic approach to everything that is happening right now, and to figure out where your inefficiencies are and where you're stopping yourself from being your next level self, and where, more importantly, you're stopping yourself from doing so consistently. So on that note, you guys, if you have any questions about any kind of work that I do, if any of this did not make sense, feel free to go ahead, send me a PM. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to talk to you and see where you are at, so we could start off the 2020 right. And I look forward to speaking to you guys. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Cheers.